Hey everyone, it's Colin. I appreciate you stopping by. I recently did a video on this Custom Dynamics all-in-one Batwing Fairing vent light, and I wanted something to complement it. Not that I don't already have lights on this thing anyway. This is a 2017 Harley-Davidson Street Glide Special. That's where these are going to come in today. I'm going to do a step-by-step install on these new Custom Dynamics Sequential windshield trim lights. The main difference between this one and the standard windshield trim that Custom Dynamics sells, besides that they're the exact same price, they're both $199.99. This new model adds a sequential look on the amber turn signals versus a standard flashing pattern on the original one. And this unit has aluminum trim with 4 banks of flush-mounted amber white LEDs, and you can get these in chrome or black. I went with the gloss black, see the little mark right there. And these white DRL LEDs automatically deactivate when the turn signal or hazards are on, and then the amber LEDs turn on in a sequential pattern. This specific model is for Harley-Davidson Batwing Fairing models from 1996 to the current year. And they also make a unit for the Road Glide Shark Nose fairings. Now this package includes the windshield trim assembly, which is this thing right here, and it also has the harnesses that come with it, the 2 of them. And it also comes with 2 1/4 by 20 by 7/8 Allen head bolts for the left and right of the trim, plus the longer 1/4 by 20 by 2 1/4 Allen head bolts for the center. Hopefully I got that right. And you're going to get 3 washers and 8 4-inch tie wraps for the wire management. And you're only going to need a couple tools for this install, which is a T27 Torx bit and a 1/2-inch socket. It's a simple install and it shouldn't take you that long to complete. Let's get started. Take your T27 Torx bit and remove all 3 of these screws, but leave this one in place. Just loosen it up a little bit. That's going to hold your fairing in place because you don't want your fairing to fall off. After that, remove your windshield. Take your 4 interfering T27 Torx bolts off, the left and right. And remember, this one's going to be a little bit longer than this one. Yours might not look like this. What you need to do is just unplug, if you have just the headlight, just unplug the headlight to remove the fairing. I have 5 different sets here, so I have to unplug the headlight, and then I have the Custom Dynamics low profile accent lights, plus the 2 for the vent light. So I'm going to take all those off, and then I'm going to remove the fairing and then go to the next step. Go to your turn signal housing on the side of the bike, and this is where your 1/2-inch socket comes into play. You're going to take off these 2 1/2-inch bolts right here, and then once you remove the housing, you're going to see a little black wiring connector. With this, you just squeeze these 2 tabs and pull out right here, and then you're going to remove your turn signal housing. This is the wiring harness that comes with the kit. And there's 3 parts to it. There's a long wire, this one right here, and this is going to plug into your windshield trim on top of the bike. Then you have another male and another female. The male is going to plug into the JE clip that we just took out a second ago. And then the other female end right here is going to plug into your turn signal housing. Those 2 plug in just like that. So before you do that, you got to run these through the hole, and you don't want to put this through the hole. So you just run these through, kind of tuck them in there. And then once you end up doing that, you're going to take this, and then you're going to plug that into the turn signal housing. Then we're going to do that on both sides. This is a good time to test the lights to make sure you do everything right before you put the fairing back on. So what I did, I took the center bolt here just to hold this in place. And if you have a second person, they can hold it, but this works just as well. So what I did is I take the female end of the wire that I just did through the pass-through, through the turn signal housing, and this male end is from the trim right here. So we're going to plug these 2 JE clips in, and then I already did it on the other side. And then let's test this thing and see how it works. Turn it in the on position. Bam! Let's see what it looks like on the left. That works. Let's see how it looks on the right. Looking good. And the last step is hazards. So we are in business. So I wired it right, thank God. So now all I have to do is a couple more steps, and then we are done. I wasn't going to bore you guys with all my wire management issues. That took about 15 minutes. I had a lot of wires I had to go through and do. So I got that all cleaned up. I did do a little zip tie on this one, but I left some slack just so I can get final tune on it. So what I'll do is once I get everything in place, I'll tuck this in. And what you want to do is you want to have the wire right on, see how it's on the side right here? When you put this back in place, it's going to come right here. Obviously this is going to go down in the fairing. So once I'm happy with where I want it, I'm going to go to the next step and tighten up the 4 inner fairing bolts, but not 100%. So in case I need to do any fine tuning, I can go back in and then just loosen this up a little bit. So that'll be the next step. And the final thing is we'll put the windshield on and I'll show you how it comes out. After putting the bolts back on that's in the kit, I failed to mention that you're going to need another tool. You're going to need a 5/32. So the T27 no longer works on there. So they do send you the 5/32 just to Allen wrench. Very, very simple. So all I did was I fine-tune adjusted. I tucked the wires in, like I said earlier, right on the sides, on the right and the left. And then once I was happy with where it was, I went through and tightened the 4 inner fairing bolts. And then I tightened each one of these, put the windshield back on, and we're done. Let's see how this thing looks. So what do you think? I definitely think this complements the vent light, and it's a cool look too. I've always been very pleased with all the custom dynamic products that I have in my Street Glide Special. They really make a huge difference with visibility, plus they have a lifetime guarantee. I hope this video was helpful. Now get out there and ride, be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.